This is the Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel and Steve Mr. Magic Carfino. Brought to you by Unibet, TCL Plex, and News Corp. What they gonna say next?
Hello and welcome to the Basketball Show, brought to you by our friends at Unibet, TCL Plex Smartphones, and News Corp. I'm Steve Carfino, joined on the desk by, of course, my main man, Shane Heel, who wore 4 numbers in his professional career: 3, 10, 11, and 23. All right, let's get right into it. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. The Sydney Kings dropping 2 on the weekend. That's devastating. Not just dropping 2, getting their hat handed to them in Perth, and then getting beat, surprisingly, by the Cairns Taipans. They're playing some pretty good basketball.
They certainly are, and it makes the league even more interesting. We've been all over the Sydney Kings so far this season, but one thing I want to bring up, and this is under the hammer, and Will Weaver, who's done a fantastic job so far with the Kings. He's driving a Porsche. I mean, he's got an unbelievable team, isn't he?
But it's your turn on hammer time, mate.
But subbing. He needs to understand how to sub in the NBL. And I looked at Casper Ware watching the game, and Casper Ware, the most minutes he played on the weekend was 25. 25 minutes in Perth, 25 minutes in Sydney. And as a point guard, as a guy that wants to get going, as did you want to be able to get on a run. It's just not enough minutes. It's not the NBA. So you can play a whole lot of time. You only play once or twice a week. Today, Jimmy Butler played 44 minutes. But I tell you what, if I have to keep watching Walker, Kickett, and Taylor play together, they're not going to win. They're not good enough to be able to win. You need to play your stars, and that's exactly what Cairns did. Creek played 36 minutes. Cotton and White both played over 30 minutes. I'll tell you this, if the NBA played once or twice a week and they were 40-minute games, how many minutes would LeBron James play every game?
At least 35.
At least 35. He probably wouldn't come out once or twice a week. Why are they subbing so much?
Oh, here's another question. If you got 40 minutes, how many minutes are you playing your best 5 players? The game you start, you want to start the game every game really well, so you have your best 5 players out there. That's the combination you choose to start with. How many minutes you think the Sydney Kings had those 5 guys playing?
15 minutes. Brad Newley got going and was the only one feeling it, and then he got subbed. And he stayed there. I'm like, when's Newley coming back? They just didn't have enough. Their bench isn't deep enough to be able to do it. It's like they were toying with the opposition. And that's one of the reasons why Mike Kelly's got this right. Because the Cairns Taipans, they don't have the same depth, but it helps. Machado knows he's playing 30-plus minutes. He can get his breaks at the right time. They are an exciting team to watch, and I'm very happy for their franchise that they're doing so well.
Okay, before we move on to the next bit, if you're Casper Ware and Machado's got it going, you're dirty that you're coming out of the game.
Or Cotton on Friday night. Like, give me a crack at this. Why am I sitting here? Why am I playing just over half a game?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've got a crack too. You know, when it comes to, I'm talking about the video. It's like not even understood. You got players asking for a video replay in the first half. The players don't even know what the situation is. Now, I think that the NBL should follow, and you're going to argue with me on the pace of play, because every sport wants to speed up their game. They want to make it interesting and have it flow. But I think the NBL, the coaches should have 2 questions that they can ask. They can ask for the video ref twice during the game. It's strategic. They're going to wait late in the game. I believe that that's how they're going to get it right.
Well, I am going to surprise you, because I actually agree with you, but I'll go one step further. And the NBA should be doing this as well. They only get 1 coach's challenge. I'm saying if they get that coach's challenge right, they should have another one. You should only get 1 wrong, in my mind. You should be able to question the calls as many times as you want if they're going to be wrong, and you just keep going, prove them right. But one thing that they're showing in the States, and I watch a lot of NBA every day, game upon game, and the amount of times that I reckon the refs are so stubborn, you watch the replay, they're like, nah, that was right. And it's clearly wrong. These guys do not want to agree that their call was wrong.
Yeah, referees all around the world, they have
they're
that
like
in
wives.
common.
Or my wife.
They have that in common. And as Forrest Gump said...
He didn't even go there.
No, I'm not touching that one. That's an argument I'm never going to win. But as Forrest Gump said, that's all I'm going to say about that.
This is the Starting 5, brought to you by TCL Plex Smartphones.
We got 5 things to talk about right here, Shane Heel, but in New Zealand, they just can't seem to get that culture right.
No, they can't. Glenn Rice Jr. breached his bail conditions, so he is cut immediately. No doubt this guy was a talent He could put the ball in the hole, could score from inside and out. Didn't play a lot of D, and not great for their culture either. Just his body language, and continued to argue and never in a stance. They weren't ever winning anything with him, but yep, they've got some work to do in New Zealand.
Yeah, and NBA scouts always talk about whether the guy is a good teammate, and obviously, that wasn't working for New Zealand. Yeah, all right.
What about the Hawks, mate? They've signed just what they need, another big. Not.
All right. Josh Boone and AJ Ogilvy weren't big enough for the Illawarra Hawks in that rotation. They go out and get another big man, 6'10". I know he can shoot the three, can stretch the defense out. From my old alma mater, St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California, zip code 90706, but not really what Illawarra needed. And it's amazing they didn't go with a guard. That might cost them, not just in wins and losses, but in personnel.
Oh my, who's doing the recruiting down there? It just gets worse in my mind about what they're trying to bring to the table. They need balance. They were out of balance from day one, and they're going to finish even more out of balance.
All right, looks like they're just trying to get the best player on the market. Well, one of the best players in the competition last year was Nick Kay, first-team All-Star, but was very inconsistent, especially after the World Championships, with his scoring kind of up and down, kind of invisible for minutes at a time. But boy, did he respond to certain people's criticism. He was perfect outside the three-point line this week.
Well, we're big fans. We love him.
Yeah.
We said that last week, but we also set out the challenge. He is 20-10. If the Perth Wildcats are going to get results, and that's exactly what he provided. Sydney Kings and Southeast Melbourne went and got it done. Big fella, you are back.
Yes. Congratulations. Welcome back, Nick Kay. You are the man.
All right, number 4, Jared Weeks. Good man, Jared Weeks. Great teammate. I was lucky enough to coach him too in his early days. 150 games.
Oh, outstanding career he has had. This is a guy that didn't get considered for state teams in New South Wales. He was a development player for the Sydney Kings, didn't really get a look there. And he comes on as Agent 97, playing for the Illawarra Hawks, got his opportunity to get into games, and what a career he's had. For the underdog, it's a perfect story for the likes of Jared Weeks going out there and getting it done and getting a career.
He's a great example of persistence. A lot of kids these days, they don't make it, so they go and do something else. But he persisted, he worked hard, and he's got the rewards. Well done, Jared Weeks from the Basketball Show, mate.
Okay, and what about, you order something, an NBL merchandise, and you expect it to come back right. And there's some funny stories here. We got a couple of combinations of there we go.
36 one.
36
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, there's
Looks
nothing
great.
wrong, but look at the back.
My.
They got their arch rivals on the back. I think it would only be even better if they had Andrew Bogut on the front and Sean Long on the back.
Ooh.
That's kind of
Sydney Kings on the front. And then Melbourne United on the back. It happens. Yeah, people make mistakes.
It happens.
Made one.
It happens.
Once.
It was a funny one there. All right, Prospect Watch. And let's just have one guy. Because the biggest prospect in the world right now coming out of high school is LaMelo Ball. He came here, and his goal was to be the number 1 pick in the NBA Draft 2020. And I believe he has done it.
Well, this is the thing for me, right? He came here outside the top 5. And week by week, we watched him just flourish and continue to get better and better. Now, he said he's injured. Now, is he injured? I'm not sure. Yeah, but I don't really care.
Yeah, don't care.
Because you know what? If I was him, I wouldn't play either. No. I'd be pulling the pin. That's why we said a month ago, people bagged us, said he's not going to be here for Christmas.
Yeah.
He's not eating Christmas turkey here. No. That's what we said. Not because we're bagging him. And if I was his dad, I'll be saying, pull up stumps now, pal, because you've done what you had to do. You've increased your stock. And you know what? The NBL's benefited from it too. So it's a great relationship. The next gen, next stars, whatever you want to call it, has worked. Good luck to you. But I don't think we see him again.
No.
Do you think he's injured?
No. Oh, I don't think he's injured. And I applaud him. I applaud his group for giving him the right advice. The number 1 pick, you don't get any better than that. See you later. Let's go courtside with our correspondents all around the country. Paulo is in Melbourne. What's happening down south, bro?
Yeah, well, let's talk about penetrators this week, because the way the NBL is being officiated this season, there's so many cheap points to be had by getting into the paint, initiating a little bit of contact, maybe extending that off arm, and the chances are you're heading off to the free throw line. And we think about how that works for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They got Mitch Creek, who's one of the best penetrators in the competition. But outside of him, who do they have that can shift the defense off the dribble? And you think as a result, they're only shooting the second fewest free throws in the competition. And then you go to the other end, where Adam Gibson's an outstanding perimeter defense, but who else do they have that can consistently keep people out of the paint? And you look at the result of that, with Mitch Creek moving to the 4, because Keith Benson's struggling and Ty Wesley's been out, their wing defense has been an issue. They're giving up the most 2-point baskets in the competition, and they're being forced into rotations, which means they've got the second worst defensive rebounding percentage in the competition.
Well, Paulo's quite the scout, huh? You really wouldn't want him coming to check out your team.
He's good.
Pick out your sore points.
2 things I got from that. First time he's ever been called bro from you in an introduction. And the second thing is PK has turned on the Phoenix, because he was all over the Phoenix about their 3-point shooting, but he's right. The penetration and guys that can play off the dribble, easy points to be had. But let's get over west. Our man Lacko, your boys bounced back.
Well, what a difference a week has been for the Perth Wildcats. After coming off their single worst performance against the Adelaide 36ers at home, they put in their greatest first half performance ever in the NBL against the best defensive team in the Kings. Why? 2 reasons. 1, change to the starting lineup. Out went Dario Hunt, in came Majuk, a smart strategic move on their behalf. Secondly, the emphasis clearly has been to simplify things on the offensive end. Putting Cotton and White into pin downs, turnouts, dribble handoffs, and staggered screens was a very smart move. The sheer volume of shots these 2 athletes took, 47 shot against the Kings, is the reason why they were able to create so many opportunities for their bigs on the offensive glass. Overhelping by the Kings, late in rotations, allowed the Wildcats bigs to take an advantage. On the other hand, for the Adelaide 36ers, they seem to be a Jekyll and Hyde team. Which character was sharp from week to week? 6 wins, 5 times they've held their opponents to only under 100 points. They give up the most amount of 3-point makes in the NBL. And yes, they are a high-octane offensive team, but Joey Wright still looking to find a balance between their defensive best and their offensive flow. Back to you guys.
Well, I agree with Lacko about the Perth Wildcats. They got their best players the most shots, and they were on the court for the majority of the time. So 2 good things there. And our man Nick Kay, he stood up. That third prong is what they needed. Everybody else played a role.
Yeah, and they went to the offensive glass, and they were tenacious. They looked like a team that got their pants pulled down, and they really responded in a great way. Well, next up is one of the best scoring, let's just call him one of the best point guards that have ever played in the NBL, Derek Rucker. And Derek, he's going to tell us who he thinks is the best point guard in the competition right now.
Well, all the talk up here in Queensland is about the Cairns Taipans after their 2 victories this weekend, especially the one yesterday down in Sydney over the Kings. The Taipans were led by Scott Machado, who right now I believe is the best point guard in the competition. He shoots it well. He drives it. He's the #1 passer assist guy in the competition. But what I like most is his ability to control tempo, which is a lost art in today's game. He's got some guys that, by his control of the tempo, they're allowed to come into the game. Dang, Oliver, Noy, Newbill, all those guys are able to make contributions at different stages in the game, which makes Cairns a very dangerous outfit going down the stretch. The Brisbane Bullets had a less than convincing victory Saturday against Illawarra's NBL 1 team. I look forward to seeing them play against tougher competition this coming weekend. See you next week, guys.
Well, how could you not love Machado?
Yeah.
He's a superstar. They need to lock him up. We said it about a month ago. They need to lock him up right now. Throw everything you have at him, get the chips in, and get him done, because he's a superstar. But another superstar is Josh Garlepp from out west, and he's a basketball commentator, ex-player, and he's been able to go to Spain and do a special story never been shown before on Brock Motum and the EuroLeague.
You can't escape orange in Valencia. The sun, fruit, and basketball. Aussie hoop fans' recent relationship with Spain has been rough. Ugh, still hurts. But believe it or not, Australia have a home in eastern Spain. Lauren Jackson won a EuroLeague title in 2011 with the now defunct Ross Casares. And former Boomers captain Matt Nielsen's name is somewhat lauded in Valencia basket after contributing to 2 Eurocup titles.
I think fans kept a good memory, a good reminder of him. He was one of the best players, not only playing basketball, not only on the court, even off the court.
Brad Newley and AJ Ogilvy have had stops at the club, and Brock Motum is the latest Aussie to land in Valencia.
Through Motum, cut the magnificent.
They've had a lot of success traditionally in coming here. Euro Cup champions, fresh into the EuroLeague. Obviously I have to bring some experience from my past in the EuroLeague and obviously do what I can as a player to ensure success for this club.
If you haven't heard of Motum before, he's actually one of our most successful recent hoops exports. In his third EuroLeague club, Motum is a far different player from what NBL fans might have seen in Adelaide.
Yeah, I think I've grown a lot. My time in Adelaide was, at the start it was terrible. I think we started like 0-6, 0-7, and then I think we won 17 or whatever games in a row. And I think I've grown a lot as a player. There I was a bit young and a bit reckless on the court. Every country I've been in has been different. Lithuania was obviously my first stop and first introduction to EuroLeague, and that first year was a huge learning experience, and then I got to get coached by Šaras Jasikevičius, which was probably one of the best years of my life, being able to learn from him and play in that Zagros arena. Before I played in Lithuania especially, and for Šaras, it's like I didn't really know how to play basketball. Up until now, it's just like, I think personally I understand the game a lot better. I understand how to be effective in games, and from what I was taught there to now, I think it's really helped me grow as a player. And then obviously I met my wife there, so all my memories of Lithuania are really good.
The setup here is one of the best in Europe. 9 state-of-the-art courts next to an arena constantly developing juniors. Dale Ryan is another Aussie that calls this place home. The former NBL championship-winning assistant coach with the Brisbane Bullets sets up clinics and tours between the club and Australia.
You have the pinnacle with the pro team, feeding all the way through to junior players who are starting out in the game. And there's a lot more freedom here in Spain around what they allow the players to do, probably a little less structure and a little bit more of an opportunity for the players to express themselves. And I think you see that further down the track in players and the Spanish players at NBA and international levels, thrown behind the back passes and one-handed passes and the like, and a lot of that's born out of the way they approach coaching at a junior level.
Game night. 8,000 passionate Valencians packed their third EuroLeague game of the season against Motum's previous club, Anadolu Efes. Former NBA guard Shane Larkin started on the bench for Efes the night I was there. The crowd's loud, intense, but the hosts fall short by 5. Motum productive with 11 points. He was part of the Rio Olympics but missed out for this year's World Cup, and it's hard not to think he would have been at least handy in China. Motum will be amongst the players next year vying for a spot in Tokyo. And while the NBA remains a goal, the Queenslander is happy in Europe.
If a good offer came from the NBA, then for sure I would jump at it, but it's not so much like NBA or die now. It's more, okay, I have a great career here, and if the right opportunity came up, then for sure.
As far as hoop cities go, Valencia exceeded the hype. If you like meat, wine, sunshine and high fundamental basketball, it's worth a stop.
It's time now for the Unibet Game Preview. Who's hot? Who's not?
Great story by Josh Garlepp. As a matter of fact, took the money out of his own pocket to get that one done. Very impressive story.
Great effort. Good insight into the EuroLeague. A lot of Australians obviously played over there. Overtime as well. Well done, Josh Garlepp. Hopefully he's going to bring us some more.
All right, let's get into the Unibet Preview.
Yes.
Perth Wildcats at the Cairns Taipans. Who you like?
Oh, that's a flip of the coin, isn't it? Two teams that have sort of found some form, but I'm going to go with Cairns. 1-10. I think Perth could quite easily win that game after losing there before, but Cairns are on a roll.
Yeah, Cairns notorious for getting wins at home, and they're playing some great basketball. Great to see that. It really makes the competition a lot more enjoyable to watch. Adelaide 36ers are hosting the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Who you like?
Well, both teams are a little bit up and down, but I'm going to go for the Adelaide 36ers. I think great home court advantage. They'll be desperate. We talk about Jekyll and Hyde. Well, I think they've got an opportunity to be able to bounce back here. I think they'll win 1-10.
I agree. I think the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix starting to slide a little bit. Really got to reestablish that game. Sydney Kings at Melbourne United. Oh, I love these two teams. I still think they're the best two teams in the competition.
They are. I think this is a grand final preview. We say that every time they play against each other. I'm going to go for Melbourne United. I'll be interested to see whether Will Weaver makes any sort of changes to the minutes played and whether he's playing that bench as much as what he has been. But Melbourne United are looking good. Casey Prather is back. Oh. People are hating on him. We said give him a month.
How could they hate on him?
Because they have no idea. That's why they were hating on him.
Yeah.
He's a superstar. He had popped to his game, and I reckon he's only going to get better and better as time goes on. I think Melbourne United win that 1-10.
I'm going to go Sydney Kings to bounce back. They were the best defensive team in the competition until last week. I think they'll reestablish their defense and get that one. Brisbane Bullets at the Perth Wildcats.
Perth Wildcats by 11 plus.
Okay.
I think they'll be way too good. Brisbane still, I'm just not impressed by them.
I agree. Moving on. Adelaide 36ers at New Zealand. They're having their troubles.
Well, I'm going to go for an upset. I think Hobson will have been back for a second game, and I think they will have enough to be able to get a win. That'll be a high-scoring game. I will go New Zealand 1-10 for the upset.
I'll go for the 36ers with the Jerome Randall scenario. I don't even know how to call that. Jerome Randall's going to get off. I can feel it. Cairns Taipans at the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix.
Wow, this is another cracking game, 2 even teams. But I think that Southeast Melbourne are going to win this 1-10. I think they have to. They're going to be desperate to be able to get another win on the board. They're in the box seat to get the top 4, but they're slowly just giving other teams an opportunity.
Yeah, I think that the Cairns Taipans may have used up all of those big away wins and might slip a little bit in that matchup, so I got the Phoenix. Melbourne United at the Illawarra Hawks. Down in the gong, baby.
I am going Melbourne United 11 plus. I'll be very interested to see their 2 new imports.
Right.
No LaMelo Ball. They don't have enough depth. They don't have enough guards. 2 top heavy. 11 plus. Melbourne United feeling it.
All right. If there was more than 11 plus, I'd be going with that one. I think it's going to be a very
Mate, you get on
lopsided.
Unibet, you can go more than that.
Really?
You can get your own line.
All right.
Go 20 plus.
I got the app. I'll have to just fire away on it. Okay, let's go to the NBA. The LA Clippers are at Toronto, and Toronto dropped a few.
Another cracking game. As we record this, Toronto have lost 3 in a row. Lost today, but Lowry and Ibaka are back, and since then they've lost their game. So it's like they're just getting them back into the flow. I think Toronto win that 1-10.
Yeah, I agree. All right. The Boston Celtics host the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, Philly have been playing well over the last couple of games after poking themselves in the eye at New York. So that was a wake-up call. I'm going to go Boston Celtics 1-10. They're good. Right. Small, but good.
Okay, the Lakers. Oh, I agree with you. The Lakers at Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler playing big minutes.
He played 44 minutes in overtime today and playing a great role. They've got some superstars. His young kid hero, have you seen him? He is a star. That kid made massive threes
from
today
North Carolina.
In overtime. He's huge.
Or is he
and
from
none,
Kentucky?
Both kids, I have no idea, and I don't care. But he's a star. That's all I know. Hate picking against Miami, but the Lakers are just so dominant at the moment. LeBron and Davis just look great role players. I'll go them 1-10.
All right. Well, we had an action-packed show. That's all the time we have for you. You can see us on Apple Podcasts. Of course, you can check us out on Facebook. I'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Unibet, TCL, Plex Smartphones, and News Corp. I'm Steve Carn.
Who are you?
I'm Steve Carfino. You're not. And that's Shane Hill. We'll see you next time. Can't believe I messed my name up.
See you again.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sport.